Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for joining our Steam show. It's a new show created by me and the cooperation, the community that I'm building for almost a year. And we already did that in another community in Steam Savvy, and it's a show that will be hosted in different communities. This show is created to make communities collaborate and to connect them all together. And we will discuss different topics in such shows, and we will just introduce ourselves. We will talk. We will have fun. Maybe brainstorm, like we just talked about the wallet, and we like share our ideas. And today we are talking about DApps, decentralized applications on Steam blockchain. I want to firstly to introduce you to Binky Prad. So she's also a member of the cooperation, and she's she known me for a long time, maybe more than 1 year, and she's a writer, she's a YouTuber, she's also she wrote a book recently. So let's move to her. And Binky Prad, can you introduce yourself quickly?
Sure. Well, I'm at Binky Prod on Steemit and Twitter. Yes, I do use regular apps too, but I do use several dApps. I've been on Steemit for 2 years, and I'm a writer. I just published a fantasy novel this past month. I also am on YouTube as a gamer, and I have a second YouTube channel where I post alternative and natural healing from abuse and CPTSD based on personal experience. And yeah, I share everything on Steemit, and I do some exclusive things for Steemit as well.
Yeah. And what's the name of your book? And can you tell some words about that?
Yeah, if anyone's interested, it's a high fantasy novel series. It's the book 1 that just came out, Stardust Destinies, Variant Facing. And I'll put the link in the chat in just a moment, because I'm pressing on my push to talk right now, so I can't type. But it's a high fantasy action adventure with some romance. It takes place in a new land. Dragons dictate prophecies. There's magic, and there's an evil lord who wants to rule and control all the peoples of all the lands, and 5 main characters who set out to stop him. So I'll put the link in the chat if anyone's interested.
Yeah. So let's move also to other people who are here. For example, to Freedom Point. He is from another community, and we may host the show also in the Einer Blocks community as well. So hello, Freedom Point.
Hey, hello there, Clicks Money. I'm sitting here with my lovely bride, Stacy D, who is Freedom to Write. You can see her right there in the list above me. But yeah, we co-founded the Inner Blocks.
So it's also an application.
Yeah, so the idea behind the Inner Blocks was to create a community for communities, because it's all about, supporting the whole person behind the content, not just what seems to be their most attractive or the content that they're getting the most payouts for, but giving people a place to, post their firsthand experiential content. And then, yes, we've developed a DApp, a web page or a front end that is all that firsthand, that self-reliant wellness content funneled into one place.
Yeah, that's great. We have also other people here, so if you anyone want to introduce himself, you can introduce yourself by voice or by writing. We have also Priyanark. She's from the cooperation, like Blind Spot. He's also active. He's from all the communities. He's everywhere.
So is Priyanark, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell us some words about the Ramble as well?
The Ramble started out as a place to do curation for a curation post that I used to do called the Steem at Ramble. And then from there it evolved to doing a live curation show called Pimp Your Post Thursday, which was about the first on the platform to do that. That's been running now almost 2 years, about a year and a half. That runs every Thursday twice, and then in the last year, I think about a year, I've been adding some other shows to it and turned it into the Ramble, running on Rambling Radio.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, nobody want to introduce himself? Because every Steemian is useful, and you are all making great, and it's pleasure that you joined the show and you are active in Steem blockchain. It's really nice.
Hey guys, this is Blind Spot. Sorry, Solomon, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I could easily talk about my DTube IPFS node if anyone wants to hear updates on that, but I don't know if it's
Sure.
really considered a DApp. Okay, yeah, so the VPS is going well. I continue to pin videos. I have to look at how many I'm up to, but I might have over 100 videos now that I'm hosting through my own server that ties into the DTube network. So when I post a video, I use the One Love DTube uploader, which I just want to say is really fast. When I usually upload things on DTube, I get maybe a few megabytes per second, but I'm getting well over 12 megabytes per second on my home connection now. So I think there was some limitation on DTube's side with upload speeds at one point that now I've resolved. Beyond that, now my videos, I can give someone a direct link to my video, and it's through my domain, and it doesn't have to go through the d.tube and then your hash. I can literally just give them a link, and it plays flawlessly. I really like it. But
Cool.
that's really all I have for everyone today on that.
Is the DTube thing that you use, I didn't know that was I thought it was just like a tag. I didn't know it was like a DApp. But you say like uploads are faster, and does it also like give the ability to schedule videos and stuff? Because I think that's something that could be very useful on DTube, to schedule videos in advance.
Maybe it has that feature like Steam Peak, how you can schedule posts. I'd have to dive into the settings of it, as I've never used that feature, honestly. But yeah, One Love DTube, I think they used to be a curation group mainly, and now they have some developers working, and they've built some really cool applications, and they put it out on GitHub. So you can just jump on there and read the instructions and build it yourself. It's to launch your own node. It doesn't cost anything because you're supplying all the resources. They put everything out on their open source, and as long as you have the patience to build it, it's quite the experience.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out, because I first heard of One Love DTube from Dookie, but I didn't know it was like an alternate DApp to DTube. So I have to go check that out once this is done.
Join their Discord. Yeah, Duke is the main guy over there. TechCoder X is working on as well, and Greyland. Also Vault Tech. So there's a few people all contributing to build these applications that are helping with the DTube situation. As many times my videos just don't play, but I can then give someone a link and say, here, click on this link, it will play. And it feels really empowering.
Fantastic.
Okay, we had Blind Spot want to say something also?
Nothing much. I just was trying to break the ice about introductions. So yeah, it's me, Blind Spot. Same Blind Spot on the blockchain. I'm not. I haven't crossed my 1 year mark yet on the Steem blockchain, and Clicks was right. I'm almost in every group. I just love learning about the different communities we have, trying to get involved with them and help them out or volunteer out as much as I can. I love being a community member, and yeah, that's the shortest intro about myself.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So you are welcome. Okay, let's move to D-apps topic, and the first question that I want to ask, why you prefer to use D-apps? So just you can write about it or tell about it. Why you don't prefer just to use Steemit, but you prefer to use the apps?
Well, I'll fill the silence and go first. I well, I don't use DTube very often, but I do use it. I have started using Partico quite a bit. I find that when I'm just kind of lounging around, not at my the main laptop where I do my online work, or if I'm sitting in bed or anywhere, it's very practical. I like the point system to get an extra upvote, and I like how on Partico you can see who mentioned you, because on Steem It proper you can't. So you can see who mentioned you and go to those posts, as well as the replies as on Steem It. So it has a few features that Steem It proper doesn't, and I'm still having trouble adjusting posting from it because it's not quite the same as using a keyboard, and I'm a keyboard type of person. I'm not a click every letter with one finger type of person, but it's quite practical. And I learned last night that Steam Monsters is a DApp also, and I am always playing Steam Monsters. Now Splinterlands, it's been renamed, so I'm on that a lot.
I use Partico all the time, and I love the rewards as well. It really encourages me to interact more.
And to watch ads for more points.
I use Partico a lot, but I hardly ever think about the points on it. I just like the fact that it pops up on my tablet and lets me know that there's something to pay attention to.
They used to pay
Yeah.
more on the ads, and then they pulled it way back. I think they realized, oh crap, we can't like give out this many.
Okay, so as for me, the best thing that I like about the apps, because before I started using the apps, I was using only Steem It for 11 months, and I was wondering why I am not growing, and it was very, very hard to go somewhere. So the best thing now I learned about them, I'm using the apps for almost 1 year, and I realized that after each D app there is a community. I mean, behind each D app, and that's the best part about that. And that's why I like to use more and more D apps to meet more and more people and to join more communities.
Well, what's fun about communities is that everyone's supporting everyone. So we upvote more people, and we discover more content, and we get more upvotes and more people discovering our content, and then it just grows exponentially.
Yeah, it's good to get to know each other beyond the posting that we do.
For sure.
Okay, guys, tell me please, what are your favorite D apps?
I'm very silent on a lot. Really, I just use Discord and Steam most of the time. Then I do play poker now and again on Scorm, and that's probably about it.
I think Steam Monsters is my favorite because I'm a gamer and I'm addicted to it. But I will give lots of points to Partico because I've come to really appreciate its practicality.
Yeah, for me it's DTube because I always wanted to make videos before, and I had like a lot of YouTube channels, and when I started to use DTube, I felt very good. And the thing about DTube, it's not just about like the upvote or something. It's also when you show your face and you share your emotions, and people see you. So people start to follow you more because they see you, like your real emotions and your real face, and how you talk, what you see, what do you say. So they feel you better, and they like to interact with people that way. And I see the D2 community is very active and very engaging.
Yeah, I don't go on D2 for the same reason you go on it. I don't go on video.
Understeamed is one of the best aggregators to find underappreciated posts. If you just Google Understeamed, it's on Google. And then Steam Auto, so I can give out daily votes to many of my longtime followers.
Did you say under Steam?
Yep, Understeamed.
What is it?
It allows you to sort by different categories, so you can like search for one type of tag, but then you can say hasn't been paid above like 3 SBD or 2 SBD or 10. So you only look at posts that haven't had a lot of exposure already, and as the essence is understeamed. And I've found a lot of great posts and many users over the years, or followers, by using that service, because it really brings out things that are underappreciated.
Cool. Does it show
There's a link in the chat. If anyone's interested, you can go to the...
There
Definitely.
it is.
Does it show the rep level as well? Yes. Nice.
Yeah, you can search by that. There's a lot of features to filter by. It's really awesome.
Well, we learned something today. At least I did.
I'm learning a bunch of things today.
Yeah, that's great. Recently I found a website, I don't know if it's a D app or not, and it shows only the posts that are organically upvoted well. So it's like it's not showing the trending page like from upvote bots, but it's showing only those who are upvoted, for example, by real people, by whales, by D apps, etc. Like it filter posts from upvote bots.
Do you have the link for that, Clicks Bunny?
Yeah, this is it. Recently I found it somewhere. So I don't know. I didn't log in because I try to. I am not like promoting it. I didn't log in because I try to secure my account. So, but I see there only posts that are upvoted by D apps or by whales, but not by upvote bots. And that's interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So guys, if you have also any interesting D apps to share, you can share them in the voice, and people will learn about them. For example, a new one recently created by a guy who is also a part of the cooperation. His name is Free Crypto. He created with a team an application called D-Contest. So D-Contest is a special application for contests, especially.
Yeah, apps are going to continue to explode on the platform. It's what's going to really expand the platform.
Right, and I think since Priyanark already brought up Apex, I have to agree with what Shadows just said. Apex is, for those who don't know, it's an Instagram-esque D app, basically. The most interesting part about that is in the recent days, I've been looking into D apps and the growth of D apps, and Apex was at the top of my list. Reason being, Apex is not originally a Steam-based dApp. It is from EOS, I believe, but they are trying out on Steam, and by the end of June or somewhere around there, they will finally decide if they want to transition and be based on the Steem blockchain. And what this means is basically even people or communities outside the Steem blockchain realize the strength realize the potential that the Steem blockchain has. And it's really interesting to see a different dApp from outside our Steem blockchain coming into our blockchain and trying it out. It shows a lot of promise. It also shows that, there is no border, there is no limit. We will have a lot of interesting, a lot of beneficial, a lot of impressive dApps coming in every day, either from our Steemians, our very own Steemians, or even from outside.
Yeah. And
I have
I
to
like
check that out.
I like also the fact that some apps are on Android and iOS, because Android and iOS, there are a lot of users there. They can just, by coincidence or I don't know, by just find that app and join Steem. And the Android and iOS, they have a lot of traffic, and that will make Steem even more famous.
And we can't have a show without talking about ActiveFit. Now, that's been a real success story.
Can you explain more what ActiveFit is? Because I keep seeing it pop up, but I've never taken the time to research what it is.
Okay. ActiveFit rewards you for being active, thus called ActiveFit. And there is both an iOS app and a Android app. You download it to your phone, and when you go walking, you turn the app on, and it records your walks, or if you're cycling or whatever activity you're doing. And then at the end of the day, you post a report on what you've done. And if you've got, I believe it's more than 5,000 steps, you can earn a reward for it.
Okay, cool.
It's got a strong community, and one of the things I like with it, it will connect in with my Fitbit, so I don't have to use the app. I can use Fitbit and then have ActiveFit pick it up off my Fitbit.
And ActiveFit was running a show here in the Ramble. I'm not sure if they're going to continue or not, but they were running a show that went for an hour every week on Friday.
Yeah, I talked to McFarhat this morning, and apparently his work schedule has run into some issues for him, so he hopes in a few weeks to be able to regroup and bring it back.
That's good to hear. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, the funny thing about ActiveFit, because I installed it just about 3 months ago, I thought that ActiveFit count only your paths. So I start to walk in the room, and I took a lot of paths to make that, because to get the upvote from ActiveFit, you have to make 5,000 moves.
Yeah, you have to do 5,000 in a day.
Yeah, but I thought it's counting only my paths and how much I walk. And after a few days, I start to just move the phone with my hand, and it counted also that movement.
Yeah, you've got to kind of be careful with that. If you really want to be able to do movement and it benefits you, you've got to be careful that you don't fake it. Fitbit does the same thing sometimes. If I move my hand too much, it'll register steps that I haven't taken.
Ah.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so there are a lot of D apps, and I know that you are all enjoying them. So I have such a question. Maybe it's a strange question, but when you decide to delegate to the app?
So, okay, I'm going to share my side of the story because I recently started delegating to projects, and the first project that I delegated to was Vim. So I've been very open about my support for Vim on my blog, so I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, it was to support Vim because Vim right now, it is a very promising DApp, very promising DApp. It has a huge potential, but they are lacking in many ways, and one of them is support. So I spoke to Chiron about it, and he was like, one of the ways you can support is, of course, by using the DApp or by delegating to it. And I was all for it. I delegated, and it's cool because they give you a supporter badge plus you get a monthly kickback. So that was my whole plan on supporting Vim, because honestly, I feel there are a lot of dApps on the blockchain that have a lot of potential. And if there is one that I find that I can help them through a delegation, right now I'm over 500 SP, and my dream was always to get to 500 SP. So I've got some spare Steam power that I can delegate, and it felt really nice helping out a dApp that I really believe in.
Cool. I don't delegate to dApps, but I do delegate to certain communities like Curie, Accelerator, Natural Medicine. So communities I'm more part of, I delegate to, and I'm saving up to, potentially delegating more to them. But yeah, delegating to apps, I'll look into that because I hadn't given it much thought before now, actually.
I would say I do a mix. I delegate to Welcome Wagon, Spunky Monkey, Innerblocks, and I think, what's the other one? Oh, Steam Host Publishing. I've delegated to them. There's probably a few others, and there's some individuals that I've delegated to.
Yeah, so you mostly delegate to those applications who bring value to you personally, usually.
It's not so much value to me as I think that they're contributing something of value to the platform. Steam Basic Income is another one that I delegate to, and I think they bring value to the platform and want to support them.
Yeah, that's great.
I delegate to Partaco because they give you bonus points for everything you do. So when you do a post or you like or you comment, there's a multiplier effect on how much you delegate. And the same for ActiveFit. I believe they give you more tokens if you delegate based on how many points that you're getting through ActiveFit. And I run, so I get like 5,000 points in a few hours, and it works well for me.
Yeah, each community has its perks for delegating, but honestly, when I choose to delegate, it's not necessarily because of the perks, it's because of my connection to the community, or I write content based on that. So I guess I should delegate to the dApps I use most.
I agree with you on that. I don't worry about whether I get a return on it or not. To me, it's like giving a donation, except after a while, if I want to, I could take it back and donate it somewhere else.
Exactly.
Delegation is what makes it set apart from Facebook and other platforms. They can never do anything like that.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, of course.
Delegation confuses me. If you want to help a community, is delegating to that community the best way to help the community? Or as an alternative, if there was, say, a new account created and it's called community vote or communal vote, that if you delegate to this particular account, this account will vote to these 10 accounts on a regular basis. That would mean that delegation that you give to support that community, but they would then get 75% of the reward of the vote instead of a shared 25%. And would that not grow that community stronger quicker?
Yeah, like people said here that it depends what they are doing with that delegation and how they are using it. And Shadow's Pub, she said you can delegate anytime you want if you see them that they are not doing well with their delegation. And we have a lot of tools where you can track what others are doing with that delegation and how much they are giving to others. For example, the Steam report. So you can just use the Steam report and write the name there of the community or of the app that you are delegating to, and you will see what they are exactly doing. If you see them, for example, voting mostly for one person or for just a few people, and those people maybe they are not doing almost nothing for that community, of course maybe you will not like that and you will just delegate. But if you see them that they are distributing the upvotes fairly between members, I think it's the reason to let your delegation and maybe to add them more.
Well, also, I find that, when you delegate, you can also choose to delegate to a community. And then if you post less content there, or you want what you're able to delegate is limited, then you can undelegate there to delegate somewhere else to encourage them and help them grow a bit. And like people do to delegate to individuals. I had ABH12345 who delegated to me for a couple of months to help me reach 500 Steem power. And then once I reached it, he took it back and delegated to someone else to help them. So you can make a rotation of delegation to help someone grow, and then take that delegation once they've grown and give it to someone else who's smaller to help them grow. Same thing with the communities. And that's what I look at also. People who are delegating, who they're delegating to and why.
I've kind of outing myself here at the moment, but I've been for several months now doing delegations to people that come in as trainees in the Welcome Wagon, and I monitor them. I check them at least once a week, and I watch to see that they're active, and as long as they're active, I will leave it until they reach a certain level, and then I pull the delegation back and give it to somebody else. And if they're not active, I pull the delegation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are using the delegation to build up communities or DApps or just Steemians. For example, if we take an example like Steemit community or Steemit community, I think, or Steem community. No, Steem community. It's also a community built on Steem blockchain by Paula G. And she's delegating to newcomers. So when they have low amount of Steem power and they can't post a lot, so after onboarding them, she tried to delegate to them and to find other people also to delegate to them. It's also useful.
Yeah, and in my opinion, to answer the question that was asked, is delegation the best way to support a community? Not necessarily. Because if you're part of that community and you post with their tags or you re-steam their content, that's also a good way to support the community. It's not, is there a best or worst way to support? It's, if you want to support a community, you support them the way you feel comfortable doing it, the way that fits with you, and it helps no matter what.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to support a community or a project.
Yeah, in this, I remember one guy, he told me how he supports the communities. He just joined communities and he tried to be active not only in promotion channel and general channel, he tried to be active in all their channels. And this is also a kind of great support, because I think for a community, if they are creating a channel, and they are doing something for that idea, they need supporters. It's also a good way.
Activity is very important on this platform.
After Hard Fork 20, I've had a couple of users that needed help with some delegation, as it could only make like 2 or 3 comments every 24 hours. So I just delegated like 50 SP, and it made a world of a difference to them.
It does. That's one of the reasons I started doing the delegating for the Welcome Wagon. If anyone's not familiar, the Welcome Wagon brings in trainees individually and gives them one-on-one mentoring. Well, actually, it's 2 or 3-on-1 mentoring. There's a few graduates of the Welcome Wagon in here.
Cool. Yeah, because with the RC system, I find that newcomers don't have enough RC. They should get a bit more RC. And it used to be when I like 2 years ago when I started on Steemit, I forget which whale it was, but I had plus 11 steam power. I was given a delegation, automatic delegation, that was taken away once I reached my first 50 or 100 steam. That should still apply.
I think what you're getting now when you join is you get 15 steam, which, as Solo Miner pointed out, is only good for one, if you're really lucky, 2 posts a day, and or you can do comments. So that's the idea of doing some delegation to people that are active and showing promise on the platform.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to the apps again. How the apps are helping Steam blockchain? What do you think about this? So they
They're,
give up votes, but what else?
they're creating
Well, they're
diversity.
giving people more chance. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, go ahead, kitty girl.
I was just going to say that they're giving more people a chance to interact in other ways, which none of us work exactly the same way or think in the same way. So it's giving more possibilities for that interaction.
I agree.
It's truly creating an ecosystem here of just about anything the mind can conceive. It's probably going to have a DApp at some point.
I love all the dApps, but in many cases they're using Steemit's core architecture and network to stay alive. So I just hope we don't have a big collapse because dApps are using too much bandwidth of Steemit's core resources.
I think you're going to find that there's going to be a bit of a push for a lot of those dApps that are running on the Steemit infrastructure to start moving to their own infrastructure.
Yeah, they really need to.
At the same time, the dApps help, keep Steemit alive and stuff. I think during the extreme year-long bear market, some of these dApps like Steam Monsters, Partico, and a bunch of other dApps are what was keeping Steemit alive for a time, because a bunch of people were just leaving. Except for people who are part of these communities using these dApps, they continued, and that's what helped during the bear market.
Yeah, the other thing also about the apps that it helps us to promote Steam blockchain. So if you don't have, for example, an idea how to promote Steam blockchain, you can't promote it just like a blockchain. Come here and invest in it. But if you promote it to the audience that are doing, for example, videos, you promote D2 for music people and podcast people. You will bring them to this sound, etc. And that helps a lot to promote Steam blockchain, I think.
Blindspot, they don't have to move out of the Steam blockchain, but they could run on their own servers rather than running off of the Steemit APIs.
So they're still part of the Steam blockchain, but they have their own servers, so they run better, basically.
Yeah. The whole idea is that a blockchain should be interconnected, multiple servers and access points. So the idea is if a dApp puts up its own access point, then it's strengthening the blockchain.
Okay, I get it. Now I get it.
And I think, too, with RocksDB and Mira and all that stuff coming on now, it's making it cheaper for people to run nodes, full nodes, RPC nodes, things like that. I think that's going to help tremendously.
It should.
Yeah, or each D app could be a witness. It also helps because witnesses are also doing a lot. And we already have some D apps doing witness at the same time, like Partico and Oracle D, they are witnesses at the same time. Okay. How do you see D apps in the future?
Multiplying.
Yeah.
or for example, what kind of apps we need in the future. Like the guy said about the wallet here. Maybe you have
The pocket.
the pocket. Maybe you have other ideas or kind of app. Maybe some developers are here. They will hear that idea and they will create something like that. Because everything started by an idea.
Yeah, so we're really only limited by our imaginations. And there's so many developers out on the blockchain. If anyone has an idea, I'm sure if you tossed it out, somebody will consider it and maybe grab it.
I think at some point we're going to see some dApps competing with each other for dominance. And that's not a bad thing.
Hey, I'd like to talk about that real quick, Shadows. I ran into that same thing earlier today talking with other communities about projects. And one thing that I noticed is that people have the same idea and they're in the same community, sharing the same content, the same niches, the same even community members. And they both said that they want to grow together and bring people together, but they didn't want to work on the same project. So you're going to end up with two projects dividing the same content, the same people. So I think we're going to end up with a ton more dApps, but then we're also going to look at more separation. And that, I mean, I get it, free market, free enterprise, but I think that is just going to just spread people thin, just kind of like, you know, taking all the tokens in.
That can happen. I agree in some areas. I think eventually, though, some people are going to have to realize just for their own survival, they're going to have to rejoin. They're going to have to pair up.
It's a learning curve, and because they've never experienced this, there's going to be a bit of that division, and then some people will succeed, some people will fail, and then other people, like some of those people will realize exactly what you said, like, okay, we have to work together. I think maybe they have to experience that division and failure to come to that conclusion that other people are already at. It's an evolution process in the creative spectrum.
Batman's got a good point. It's all about learning. These people that fail will learn where they went wrong.
Exactly.
But there is another thing also. There will be a competition between them, and maybe those existing apps now will try to become better and better, because that competition, maybe somebody will bring something like better than, I don't know, that any app existing now that doing the same thing that is the app doing, but it's working better, maybe with better interface, maybe easy to join or something like that, and it's promoted, or let's say with more Steam power, for example, and of course maybe it can succeed, because the competition, I think it can bring better product.
I think the best in each will eventually emerge. You know, we're seeing front ends that are being innovative in some of the things that they're doing, and I know that there's Steemit Inc. is watching some of these and taking a look at them for possibilities for Steemit.com. So that's not a bad idea either.
Okay, you already said what are your favorite apps. So you can say, tell us again about that, and tell us what are the changes that you want to see in that app.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I think DTube needs a scheduler. On YouTube, I would not be able to manage anything being a YouTuber if I couldn't schedule a ton of videos in advance. And so I think that's an important feature that DTube needs. As for the other ones, you know, they're continuously updating and moving forward. So I don't really have any feedback for the other ones yet.
Yeah, about DTube also, I can say that it will be good if they will add playlists, because they don't have playlists, and on YouTube we have playlists.
Yeah, that would be good too.
Maybe something like pinned also post, because recently I wrote also a post about why Steam it they can do like a pinned post. So for example, if you have a post and you want it to be promoted, you can just pin it on the top and it will be always on the top like in other social media. And I think the apps they can do the same also, like you pin a video or you pin a sound or anything or activate or anything.
Yeah, over on Medium, you can, when you go onto your page, you can select a post and tell it to put it at the top.
There could be something on Particle. You can select a post and make it favorite, but it could be practical to have a list of favorite content creators. So maybe people you're closer to or people you want to keep an eye on that you can change, you can remove them from your favorite list. But instead of seeing your entire feed, you'd have a select number of favorited people that you would see in your favorite feed. That could be practical.
Yeah, you can take a look at Steam Plus. They have that option, so you can, if you install Steam Plus, they have like a favorite option. So you can just click on the star on when you open the profile of your follower, and he will be like your favorite, and you will see him like in favorite. And in fact, Steam Plus they have a lot of useful options.
Cool, I'll check it out.
Okay, and the last question I want to ask: do you think that we can grow or improve in Steam blockchain without the apps?
No.
No.
I think they're an essential part of Steemit and they contribute to Steemit growth. And I don't think Steemit can survive without these.
Yeah.
Ned actually envisioned that this type of an ecosystem would develop. I can remember sitting in one of the Discords listening to him talking about the fact that he envisioned an ecosystem of all different kinds of apps that would all tie into the Steem blockchain. And at the time I thought he was nuts, but that's exactly what's happening.
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
Ned's vision.
Maybe more simple apps like applications that we know on Android or iOS or even Discord. Maybe they will move to Steam also someday.
Never know.
So what you do, for example, do you do something to promote those the apps that you like?
Well, every now and then and something that I'm posting on either DTube or Steemit, I'll post on WordPress also, some of the exclusive stuff. And so I'll share it on WordPress, but just a portion of it. And then I'll have like the link, continue reading on Steemit, continue, and I'll mention a word about what Steemit is, what Particle is, or something like that to inform people. Sometimes I'll tweet it out.
Do you use Steem Prep?
No.
This could be interesting. You can directly cross-post from your WordPress blog. The only problem is like the 10%.
Yeah, the problem for SteamPress is that I don't have the paid version of WordPress and I can't use plugins with the free option. So.
Oh, you're on WordPress.com?
Yeah, with the free option.
Yeah, it needs its own hosting.
Yeah.
I think the minimum they have to pay like $3 per month or something like that. Maybe more.
No, I think it's 10 US, which is like 20 Canadian right now. Like it's ridiculous.
You can get hosting not too expensive. And then you can move your website to the the host.
Say that again?
You should be able to get hosting that isn't very expensive, and then you could move your current site to WordPress on the host.
Oh, for WordPress to host it?
Yeah, well, not WordPress hosting it, getting it hosted elsewhere, and then you put WordPress on it.
And when you say hosting, because I have like my .com, I have it with OVH.
Right.
So is that hosting?
Okay, so you have WordPress on that?
Yeah. I have my WordPress linked to my OVH.com website. Like OVH is where I pay for Binky Productions.
Okay, so that's where you bought your domain, is at OVH?
Yeah.
So it's a registrar, it's not actually a host?
I don't know.
A registrar.
OVH is a VPS host.
Pardon me?
It is. OVH is a virtual private server hosting company.
Okay, well, maybe we can DM Binky and we can take a look at what you've got. You may already have the tools you need.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, maybe the last thing I want to say today is what are you doing really to help the apps? For example, okay, we are promoting them, we are delegating to them, we are using them. What else we can do to support them?
We made a forum here in Barcelona just recently.
I didn't catch all of that.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
So the main initiator was a guy called Hauptmann, also living here in Barcelona. So by the way, it's Roger speaking. Finally, I have the push to talk activated. And so I think it was a great idea to get people together, share a bigger vision. Like we're all on DTube, more or less. We're all on the Steem blockchain. And that was the idea, to come together, to spend a lot of time and effort in advance. And we don't know what's the outcome. But in the end, we had a great event. We were getting over all, let's say, technical obstacles and stuff. And everything worked very nice, right? And people came from, I would say, all over the world. But right now it was a bit too Europe-focused. I mean, Nathan Mars wanted to come from Japan. But so far it was still small, like 30 people, but very nice. This is exactly how we can keep it growing. And I see real-world, let's say, use cases. For example, in decentralized event management and planning and funding. This can be like a game changer. I want to work towards that. But yeah, first of all, that was it for the DTube forum, let's say.
Yeah, that's great. And by the way, it's also a good idea to support other DFs. Maybe they can, people who are using those DFs, they can make such meetings. I don't know. I know that we had like Steam Fest for like Steam people, all Steamians, and we have like D2 forum, especially for the D app for D2. I don't know if we have another meeting for another app. I don't know. Is there something like that?
Actually, we were also presenting other dApps there. So the idea is to use DTube's popularity and the video feature to be able to present other dApps. And for example, we also used the Vim dApp to present it as a live stream. And so we had ActiveFit, we had DSound, we had Clean Planet and K64, the D-Daily community and so on. So we had other dApp creators and community members speaking about their projects. So my idea is to even make events apart from DTube so that we can really get together, as you said, like more dApps. But so far, this was the beginning, the stepstone, let's say.
That's great.
Freedom Point had a really good point there when he says, and be patient while they grow. There's a tendency on the platform to be impatient, both with Steem and with dApps. And this is a very young platform. It's got a lot of developing to do.
Yeah, you know, I know I was thinking about the interblocks, but really I was thinking about DTube. I've been using DTube since 2017, or I'm sorry, I can't remember. Anyway, a long time. And it just seems like everyone gets their undies in a bunch every time that they have to make some kind of a change to grow. And then next thing you know, you see a bazillion hate posts because they're changing or structuring differently. The same thing happens with Steem It. The same thing happens with anybody that's trying to do the best, you know? So being that we're a very young community still with a brand new DAT, you know, I could only hope for that same patience, you know?
I completely agree with you on that. I think people fear change by nature, and so they get used to and accustomed to, they're accustomed to it being one way, and so when it starts to change, the reflex is to be upset because they're having trouble adapting to the change. But in 5 years, Steem It is probably going to look very differently than what it is now, and probably for the better.
Yeah, we are just in a building stage, so we don't have to worry a lot about things happening or about the price.
Steem It is just learning how to walk right now, you know?
Yeah, just 3 years old baby. Okay, we can conclude this and just say your.
So the winners of the Shade is Blind Spot, Freedom Point, Preanarch, and the Hive. Although the Hive hasn't responded yet.
Sorry.
He's here.
Oh, congrats.
I dropped for a minute and came back.
Okay. So the rule when I run a giveaway in the Ramble is that it's to encourage people to be present and active. So they have to be able to answer the call when the winners are named, or they don't get it. So they were all able to answer, and they all will receive their Shade.
That's great. It's a coin on Steam Engine?
Yes, it is. Token on the Steam Engine. And I'll be sending you some today as well, Clicks Money, and Binky, because you were here and active and sharing and hosting.
Cool. And what do we do with Shade?
If you have more than 100 Shade, you can actually reward it to other people when you're on the platform. And hopefully in time it will trade and grow. But in the meantime, it's something that we can give to people who are sharing and engaging.
Okay, cool. So it's like a token of appreciation.
Exactly.
Nice. I like that.
And I'll give you the announcement post that you can go and have a look at it. So tomorrow,
I like the shades.
Tomorrow we have Pimp Your Post Thursday, and everybody who presents at Pimp Your Post Thursday earns Shade. And you can present not only your post, but you can present others. In fact, we, yeah, I'm shady. We encourage people to present other people's posts, people that maybe haven't got as very much exposure or notice on the platform.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you everybody for being here. The next time I think we will do it in the inner blocks community. You can also join it. We will also think about the topic. Any feedback is welcome, and thank you very much for being in this show, and let's make Steam great again.